Hello, welcome back, lovely people. Going to talk through my trades from yesterday. Had a few really great trades and made a few big mistakes. Hopefully, you can learn from my mistakes so you don't make them yourselves. Enjoy and yeah, thanks for watching. Jumped into this gold trade and sat in the red for a little bit. I've just got back in the green. My entry point was 338.5. I've brought the stop down to break even just because, yeah, it wasn't quite as a slam dunk trade that I was expecting. So I don't want it to reverse on me again. I probably shouldn't do that. It's one of the cardinal rules. Don't move your stop too early. But here we are. I've gone and done it. But yeah, currently sitting at $100, hoping for a nice breakdown of the gold price now, considering where the ES and the NQ are. Obviously bought, yeah, just below value area high, but obviously looking good bit of confluence here where we got the overnight session, Sunday night overnight session, expensive prices here. So I bought at slightly less expensive prices to the two levels of confluence, but still I was expecting this down move due to the risk on sentiment that we are currently currently experiencing based on the trade deal in the EU-US trade deal that's been announced yesterday evening. So fingers crossed this continues to move. I may well try and follow it down by moving the stops and take profit if that happens, but it looks like it might reverse on me now and close out. So the cardinal sin I committed by moving my stop to where my entry was yeah, just that. Essentially, price came down, came up, closed my trade on literally on the tick, went down, hit my profit target, came back up as if to tease me again to my entry. It came back down, and yeah, we're now heading back up to my previous entry. I am tempted to take another trade on this because gold should be trending down realistically with the risk on sentiment that we seem to be getting from these EU trade deals and all the rest of it, but I am somewhat reluctant. I will keep you posted anyways. Re-entered the gold trade as we've kind of crossed over the 21 EMA, risking about $260. Put my stop up here just to allow for a bit of flex in any retest of the previous day value area high. And yeah, stop is at 334.1. Hoping for a range trade here, I guess. Possibly, well, very late to the trade. Missed two of the ranges from my original entry, but gonna give it a shot. See what happens. I'm not gonna move my stop this time. I also entered an ES trade on this resumption of the downtrend here. Put my stop just above a higher high here. Feel as though, considering we're testing the entry, we've got the CME gap here. My feeling is that prices might run down up until the New York session open, at which point my assumption is we'll resume higher. So there's a bit of a shot in the dark, I guess you could say, but just thought worth giving it a shot. So it's not a huge risk of about $160, and I'm just going to probably let it run if it does continue down, see how much I can grab. Just thought it worth mentioning as well, I have actually started a second trading combine just because there's the discount on Top Step at the moment, and in my other account I'm only $1,200 away from passing the eval, and so obviously don't want to risk it on on lower confidence setups, which I think is where we are right now. We obviously had this massive gap up overnight, and the market's, highly volatile due to the trade deal announcements and whatnot. So I'm just trading a new combine, and taking a bit more risk just to get started, because I'm hoping to get a few of these on the go. We could be about to reverse trend here on the ES. Looks like we've consolidated for a little bit at the current value area low, which is just above the open. Well, actually the open was, very volatile up here somewhere. I've put in an extra contract just below my stop, on the chance that we go to test this high here and then continue down. The moving averages are still indicating downward trend, but they're about to flip towards a more bullish trend. Then I'll add an extra couple of, $20-$30 to my stop if it does get stopped, which I'm not worried about. This gold trade is working out well. I'm going to move the stop down and move the take profit. So I'm in profit on this and just hope that I can just follow it down. Probably being silly and greedy here, but we've hit pretty near to the point of control. I'd like to keep going with this one if I can. There's quite a bit of movement going on in the price. Fair amount of volume coming in. Let's see if we're going to bounce or continue down. Pushing through the point of control. Moving this take profit down a bit. Locked in 160 on this trade at least. That'll cover any loss on my other trade, if there is any. Got a nice push down here, big candle. I'm going to lock in 400 because that's a good win for this. Looks like we might bounce. We're hitting this high volume node here. Trade's about to close. Trade closed, $400. Let's see what happens to the price from here. To be honest, gonna recommit the old cardinal sin here, and I'm gonna move my stop to this new lower high here. I need to go out and do a few things, and I've had a decent trade, so I don't want to risk too much now. So I'll move the. I actually might cancel out that sell. Actually, no, I want to leave that in there because we might retest these highs again. So I'm risking $87.50 on the current position. And there's an extra sell order in there to just below at 0.5 rather than 0.75 where my stop is, on the off chance we retest and then come back down again. Minimal extra risk for potential decent upside. Seems as though the ES trade I was leaving running is potentially going to break down. Broken a new low of this consolidation here. Not a low of the overnight session yet. But there's a significant gap here with little to no volume. So we'll see. We'll leave it going and see what happens. Update on the ES trade, seems to be dropping nicely into the gap. I might actually take another contract here. Got quite a strong push down. Current update on the ES trade, I am sitting in about $200 profit. I've moved the stop down to $125 profit just to get something out of this. I missed the closeout on the ES trade, but I moved my stop down to this little local high here, and was just stopped out for $175 profit. Pleased with that. Just had a fairly decent short on gold. So that's the long way around, isn't it? Got in at about, was expecting this retest here to then end up with another puke down like this. Got in at around 3324.9 and I got out at about, well, 2 contracts and then out around here, about $737 profit. I wanted to get back in. Obviously you can see it's still puking, but I'm a little bit trapped in what I thought was a surefire win on the old ES long. Got in at just above previous day value area high after this pump up overnight, and then it came down, lo and behold, and filled the gap that we were looking at earlier. But yeah, I'm now sat negative $500. I might end up having to close it fairly soon. I'll probably close it at minus 700, so that would counter the gold win I've just had. I was expecting and we know what we say about expectations. We shouldn't be expecting the market to do a thing because it's always going to do the opposite, isn't it? That seems the case. That's what's happened here. I was expecting a fairly bullish open and it's done the exact opposite. So contrarian approach seems to be the way to go, to be honest. I mean, I only actually entered the trade because it was 15 minutes before open and I ended up getting caught in it, average down. So to be fair, I hadn't planned on being in it during open. I know I didn't want to and I wish I wasn't, and at the time, and I should have been watching open to see what happens. But lesson learned, I think. At least don't enter a trade minimum 20 minutes before open, because chances are you're not going to get out of it before open, and then you're going to have to sit through the volatility and hope that your analysis and what you're expecting, or what your analysis was saying, was correct. Otherwise you're going to be sitting through it and not knowing what's going to happen. So, reflections from today's session. Made a few big mistakes. Moving my stop down too early on the gold trade caused me to miss out on a couple of big trades I could have made. I could have repeated that trade a couple of times. It was a nice range trade. I should have trusted my analysis, let the trade play out. You're risking what you're risking. You're in the trade. Once you're in, don't move your stop down too early. The same could be said with the gap fill I was aiming for. Again, moved my stop down way too early on that. That gap fill, I would have made about $1,000 if I just let that run, left the stop where it was, and let that go. I actually wanted to go to the gym, so hence why I kept moving it down. But in hindsight, I should have just let it run. You can access the app from your phone, and it's a bit of a recurring theme at the minute. It's quite a difficult mentally thing to do, just to, once you're in a bit of profit, you're like, okay, well, I want to lock that in, not rather than sort of let it potentially wither away again. So something I'm working on. And then, so obviously I was pleased with those couple of gold trades I got in there. So I was sitting on about $800 profit at one point, and the same mistake I made the other day, where I had an assumption about what I expected the market to do. That assumption was very wrong. Well, I mean, it turned out to be right at the end of this trading session, but I entered that trade thinking I was going to be able to get the trade out before market open. I got trapped in the trade. I had the conviction that I was right in terms of what I was expecting the market to do, carried on acting against me. I, didn't put a solid risk management strategy in place. Got stopped out on that. It's a huge loss. And then, second loss on, I think the NASDAQ, I think it was. I had another trade. I didn't catch these on the recordings. Probably went on tilt, arguably. Actually blew the account. So, could be a better day, could be a worse day. But at least the point is, these accounts were the discounted ones, like I said, on Top Step, and I was trying to take a bit more risk to try and get them up to somewhere a bit quicker than the other ones, but in hindsight, I should have just stopped. I think I'm going to make the rule of when I'm in $500 profit on any account, I'm stopping, because so many times now I've been up $500 to $1,000, and then I blow it all because I start the next trading session and it's a completely different beast. Especially the New York trading session is volatile, especially at the moment. This week has been pretty crazy. Today I had a bunch of bad trades again as well. So anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know if you've got any comments, suggestions, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much.